Picture a world where you engage in daily conversations with your plants. This isn't fantasy, but a practice observed in various cultures worldwide for centuries. From ancient shamans whispering to sacred trees, to modern gardeners chatting with their roses, human-plant communication has been a fascinating part of our relationship with nature. It's an age-old tradition, now being examined through the lens of cutting-edge science. So, let's delve deeper into this green conversation. Ever heard of the term plant whisperers? Well, science might be lending credence to this notion. Over the years, several intriguing experiments have sought to unravel the enigma of human-plant communication. Let's take a look at some of these studies. Back in the 70s, an intriguing experiment was conducted by a former CIA polygraph expert, Cleve Baxter. He attached a lie detector to a plant and noticed it seemed to respond to his thoughts. This experiment, while controversial, sparked widespread interest in the idea that plants could somehow sense and respond to human intent. Fast forward to the 21st century, and we find more scientifically rigorous studies examining similar concepts. For instance, a team of researchers in South Korea discovered that plant growth could potentially be influenced by sound waves. They exposed rice plants to a range of sound frequencies, and found that sounds at specific frequencies seemed to enhance their growth. Then there was the intriguing Talking to Plants experiment conducted by students at the Royal Horticultural Society in Britain. They recorded voices, including their own, and played these recordings to tomato plants. After a month, they found that the plants that listened to female voices grew more than those exposed to male voices. In another fascinating study, researchers from the University of Arizona explored the effects of various music genres on plant growth. They found that plants exposed to classical music showed more growth compared to those subjected to rock music or silence. These studies, while varied, seem to suggest that sound, and by extension, human voices, do have an effect on plant growth. However, it's worth noting that the science here is not definitive. Many of these experiments have been small in scale, and their results, while fascinating, need further validation. So, are we really whispering life into our plants when we talk to them? The jury is still out. But one thing's for sure, the intersection of botany and psychology is a fascinating landscape, ripe for exploration. But could there be more to this phenomenon? We breathe out, they breathe in. It's a beautiful symbiosis. This statement encapsulates the harmonious relationship we share with our leafy companions. As humans, we produce carbon dioxide every time we exhale. Plants, on the other hand, use this carbon dioxide as a key ingredient for photosynthesis, the process by which they convert light energy into chemical energy to fuel their growth. Now, imagine the scenario when we're talking to our plants. We're naturally exhaling more carbon dioxide towards them. Could this extra dose of CO2 give our green friends a boost? Some researchers suggest it could, pointing to the potential for increased photosynthesis and thus enhanced growth. But before you start breathing heavily on your ferns, it's important to note that this is just one piece of the puzzle. The human-plant interaction is a complex dance involving myriad factors. Yet, there's more than just carbon dioxide at play here. From Beethoven to the Beatles, could plants have a preference? Let's dive into the fascinating world of sound and plants. It might seem peculiar, but studies suggest that different sound frequencies, including music, can impact plant health and growth. A South Korean study found that playing classical music, particularly pieces by Beethoven, stimulated plant growth more than silence did. On the other hand, a study conducted in Arizona exposed wheat plants to various kinds of music and discovered that rock and roll resulted in a slower growth rate compared to classical tunes. But how does this work? Well, it's all about the vibrations. Sound is essentially a form of mechanical energy that travels in waves. These waves can cause plant cells to vibrate, which can influence gene expression and potentially promote plant growth. Now you might be wondering, do plants prefer Mozart over Metallica? The jury is still out on that one. While some studies have shown that plants respond better to classical music, others found no significant differences between genres. Remember, it's not just about music. Even the chatter of birds or the rustling of leaves can create sound vibrations that may affect your plants. So, we've seen how sounds might affect plants. But how does this practice impact us? As we'll explore in the next section, the benefits extend beyond your leafy companions, influencing our psychological well-being in surprising ways. So stay tuned. In this hustle and bustle, could talking to plants be our oasis of calm? It's an intriguing thought, isn't it? As we delve into the psychological benefits of conversing with our leafy companions, we find that this simple act can indeed serve as a soothing antidote to our daily stresses. Imagine coming home after a long day, and instead of sinking into the couch with a sigh, you turn your attention to the calm, quiet presence of your plants. You talk to them about your day, your worries, your hopes, and as you do, you might find a weight lifting off your shoulders. This, dear listeners, is the magic of a mindful interaction with nature right in your living room. Research suggests that this practice not only fosters a deeper connection with nature, but also effectively reduces stress. A study conducted by the National Institute of Mental Health found that participants who engaged in regular conversations with their plants reported lower levels of anxiety and a greater sense of well-being. The act of nurturing something living, of watching it grow and thrive in response to your care, can be incredibly rewarding and therapeutic. Moreover, this interaction with plants can enhance our mental well-being by promoting mindfulness. As we focus on our plants, observing their needs and responding to them, we are practicing a form of mindfulness, a state of being present and engaged in the moment, which has been linked to improved mental health. However, as in any scientific exploration, there are those who question these claims. Science thrives on skepticism, and this topic is no exception. There's a chorus of voices that question the concept of human-plant communication. They argue that the scientific studies conducted so far have limitations. For instance, many of these experiments lack proper control groups, or they don't account for other environmental factors that could influence plant growth. The so-called talking to plants effect might just be a result of improved care and attention. Moreover, skeptics point out that plants lack a nervous system and brain, making it unlikely for them to understand or respond to human speech in the way we perceive. As for the carbon dioxide theory, they argue that the amount of CO2 released by humans during conversation is minuscule compared to what plants can obtain from the atmosphere. Despite the skepticism, the practice of engaging with our green friends continues. After all, even if the plants aren't listening, there's something undeniably therapeutic about a heartfelt chat with your leafy companions. Ready to try a little plant conversation yourself? Let's get you started with some practical tips. First, make a routine of daily check-ins with your green friends. Ask them how they're doing, tell them about your day, or simply say a warm hello. Next, be mindful during watering. As you nourish them, share positive thoughts or even a bit of gratitude. This isn't just about the words you say, it's about the energy you share. Now, how about playing some music? Research has shown that certain frequencies can stimulate plant growth. Classical music, nature sounds, or even your favorite tunes could do the trick. Remember, attentive care and observation are key. Notice changes in their color, growth, and overall health. This way, you're not just talking to your plants, you're understanding them. And this isn't just a Western phenomenon, it's global. From ancient rituals to modern gardening, plants hold a special place in our societies. Across the globe, the bond between humans and plants is celebrated in countless ways. In Japan, the art of bonsai captures the essence of patience and silent communication with nature. Meanwhile, the indigenous tribes of the Amazon rainforest have long believed in the spiritual wisdom of plants, engaging in ceremonial dialogues with them. Moving to the bustling cities, urban dwellers have found solace and companionship in their indoor greenery, often engaging in light-hearted chatter with their leafy friends. Whether it's the whispered secrets to a flourishing garden in Italy, or the melodic hymns sung to the crops in rural India, one thing is clear. The act of communicating with plants transcends cultures, bridging the gap between humans and nature in a symphony of mutual respect and understanding. So why not give it a try? The next conversation you have could be with your favorite fern. As we wrap up, remember, the world of plants holds many secrets yet to be discovered. We've journeyed through the intriguing science and skepticism behind talking to our leafy companions, the potential benefits for both humans and plants, and the global practices that celebrate this unique bond. Now, it's your turn to explore. Strike up a conversation with your plants, or simply spend some mindful moments with them. So go ahead, strike up a conversation with your plants. You might just be surprised by what you discover.